Hi, this is Peter Gould, co-creator, executive producer, and this is episode 604, Hit and Run.
Hi, this is Ann Cherkis. I am the writer of this episode.
Hi, this is Rhea Seehorn, and I'm still in it as Kim Wexler, but I also got to direct this episode.
And what a job you did.
Thanks,
Yay!
Yeah.
And I'm Jenn Carroll. I'm one of the producers.
And we start off with these two new characters, the Rymans. Hey, Ann, how did you come up with the name Ryman?
Well, it wasn't the original name. I think I had to come up with a bunch of them, and this is the one that cleared.
Okay.
I think that I can't remember. It was something else, and then I was told that we need to change it. But I just wanted something that sounded completely normal.
I love these two.
They're great. They're a real life couple, right?
They're married.
Kirk and Joni Bovell, sorry.
Use Adobe Red if you want red. What do you even call that?
They were so great.
They were great. I remember we were in the writer's room for this scene. I felt this scene was slightly inspired by my own parents, who I talk about all the time in Burbank because they go on walks every day. And
Are they highly concerned with people's paint jobs and how they adhere to the
Are
look
they
of the
all up
neighborhood?
in the business of the homeowners association?
exactly.
No. They're very chill, but they are very observant.
Yeah.
My family's very judgy, so I think there's a little bit of that too.
Yeah.
So, but Ray,
Yes.
this is your first episode direct. Already we've gone by so much great stuff.
So great.
It's so
And
visual.
Matt Cradle and Jesse. What's Jesse's last name? They went out on the grip tricks and were filming all this extra footage and of the biking, and we just had a blast.
So great. Jesse Heidenfeld.
Heidenfeld, that's right. Thank you.
And the grip tricks is this little, it's this crazy thing that we've only used this season, which is this little vehicle you can shoot off of. It's electric, and it's very smooth.
Now, Kirk is stepping over track there, and we could tell that he was, and he said, "Well, how about this?" And he added this stretching, walking into the room,
I love it.
so that he could high step it over the
hysterical.
tracks.
That's fantastic. That's
had a
solving
good
a
time.
problem, and it makes it better. That's the best thing in the world.
I loved reading this scene in the script
Same.
because you're just thinking, what? It
What
seems
is
so
happening?
normal.
Right.
And then there's these guys with machine guns.
Right.
and
You just
there's
mentioned I mentioned the machine gun in passing, right? Yeah.
This shot in particular is so elegant, where you have just that one shot bringing them in and then introducing all these guys and
So fun.
coming over here. It's just so
And
nice.
Paul Donahue, the DP in this, was wonderful all through prep. I had ideas, he had ideas, we worked on things together with shot listing, but sometimes the elegance was also a way to know on that day you're not going to be able to cover everything time-wise. Like sometimes you're looking for solutions for the time element as well.
Absolutely. How did you approach shot listing? Because you're used to reading the script and seeing it from, a character performance point of view. How did it change when you were reading it? You always read for story, but how did it change as you were reading it for a director?
Well, it's funny you should mention that because it actually was a thing I had to keep redoing because I do look at scenes from character point of view, even if it's not my own. So then when I would shot list, I a couple of times wrote things that read more like first person gaming.
Yes.
And Paul's like, he was like, we can do whatever you want, but I just want you to know we don't do a lot of first-person POV walking around. I was like, oh, that's not what I meant. And I realized I have to say what I want the camera to see as opposed to what my character is seeing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Because you're thinking, whose point of view are we in for
Exactly.
the scene? And that doesn't mean a physical point
Right.
of view.
But at the same time, like I understood, I was going back and forth because I do understand composition from my time as an art student.
I'll say you do.
Status quo.
Just
This scene's so great.
this whole episode is so assured, Ray. It's such a
Thank you.
such a clean, beautiful piece of directing and really fun. And now we've put this. I think. Am I wrong? This is maybe the first time we've kind of had a full Howard sequence with Howard by himself.
Yes.
Yeah, we see who he is
This
when
is
he's not in front of
POV
people.
Howard, yes.
Appreciate that.
And Patrick was so great in this scene, and because Patrick and Bob and I lived together while we were filming,
Not any worse.
it turned out to be wonderful that I got to have a lot of the director-actor conversations with them prior to going to set. So we had great talks.
And also-
And he's wonderful
I'm
in the
sorry.
scene.
No, as I say, this is the first time that we hear anything about his personal life.
Yeah.
So we're like, who's Cheryl?
Right.
Yeah.
You've never even heard her
What's
name.
going on?
Yeah.
Why won't you talk to him?
One of the things I love about the way you wrote this, Anne, is the relationship between these two guys. And he is so not directed as a cliche therapy scene,
Right.
where he's the therapist trying to provoke him into doing some kind of crazy thing, or that he's having a childhood memory that reveals everything. This is more of a workaday therapy session,
Right.
which they're usually a lot, at least in my experience.
And at first, though, in the scene, he was relaying a dream, and then we pulled back from that.
we have this little piece of it here.
Oh, right.
Yes. Oh, brilliant.
Bob, this is great.
Such a
'cause
great shot.
Get both of them in the same shot. 2 Hamlins, 1 shot.
Right? And it's such the whole script had such an assured back and forth between very quiet, intimate moments and seeing underbellies of certain characters, soft sides of them, and then comedy. A lot of like hijinks and antics. A lot of driving scenes, which I found really hard.
But you got
a lot of that.
This is one of my favorite shots in the entire sequence.
Yeah.
because it's
This
such a
was
trick.
Paul Donahue,'s brilliant idea, and when he and I sat on my back porch drawing it out, I was like, I'm all in.
And Bob looks so great because he doesn't look perfect, but he looks like it looks real, like he tanned himself. And
Yes.
Oh, I got the reveal when you're doing all the small shots, the detail work, seeing what he's carrying, the crazy thing Huel gave him last.
Yeah, that was
So
fun. I
it's a
wanted
great
it to be a
Frank
bit like
and
he's going to a Western duel. I wanted it to be between Western Duel and
There it is,
Saturday Night
folks.
Fever.
There's so much hair in this episode. I remember Bob was very excited about the idea of putting the wig on askew.
Oh yeah.
Yes, very
not
much.
having it all.
Yeah.
And he was. I think that was exactly right. And then of course the ponytail.
I asked for that shot in the script. It starts with the chair thing, and
Yeah.
I told Matt, I said, I want to set it up. Matt Cradle, first her ponytail's jiggling, and we don't know. Partially as a callback to the episode I loved where her ponytail is bouncing in a very weird way, and you pull back to reveal she's on crutches.
Oh yeah.
That one.
Yeah.
Yes, episode 409.
Yeah.
Kim.
Any traffic?
No, straight shot down.
What's it like? What's it like acting in a scene that you're directing?
It's a lot of trust, right? Because
You do have to
a team.
trust, and I do have other people's eyes on me to help me. I would talk to Michael Morris, our wonderful producing director, Angie Meyer, Paul Donahue. There was lots of people that I made aware of. These are the shades I'm looking for in this scene from myself. Let me know if they're not reading authentically, but let's also
I know it. I hear this place.
leave room to respond to what my scene partner gives me, because it was imperative to me that I not be watching my scene partner with director's eyes, because
Yeah.
Ed deserves to act with somebody playing Kim Wexler, not a director watching him.
Yeah.
But I'm also trying to watch his performance. I was so excited that I got to reveal Crossroads for the first time.
So great. Entering back Julie, she's amazing.
She's so great. I loved Julie.
There's a lot of music in this episode also, I'm realizing as we're watching. Dave's in a lot and Thomas is in a lot, and I think it's great. It really gives it a vigorous feel, vigorous, exciting feeling.
Yeah, especially coming off the end of episode 3,
Sure.
which is so dramatic and so heartbreaking. We need some fun.
Yes.
Episode 3 was like a fist slowly coming at your face for 1 hour. That's what it felt like to me.
It's just like having a conversation with Gordon.
it is always fun to write the fun stuff,
course.
the light stuff.
It was quite funny.
And you write such great, funny dialogue. I mean, it's among you're a great writer just in general, but there's a certain Cherkis touch that the dialogue has.
Yeah, I always feel like if I can put some of that into our show because it's kind of heavy.
Absolutely. And I love
Empire
the
Board
orange
Game
soda.
Library. I love that mural.
It's beautiful. And I love what Jennifer Bryan did with Julia's wardrobe here. It's perfect.
Julie, she's, and you know, she goes way back to season 1 of Breaking Bad. She's like she's been we've been working together for a long time, and she does not look like this in real life. I just want to say this out loud. She looks like a completely normal, very tall, very fit person.
Yeah.
She's a delight. She's really and interesting. She's not really. She wasn't anywhere at the beginning a professional actor, but she has a confidence and a willingness to go for it that's just really special.
What if there was a different way? What if there was an independent team?
We tried that scene a couple different ways, and in the end, I told Bob to talk to her like a toddler. and that's the take we used.
That's great. That's great.
What I love about this scene is that it's a great pitch, and this is the strength of Anne's script, is that we know it's a scam, but I buy it, and I think she starts to buy it.
Exactly. I mean, that's kind of the transition here.
Because of your connections in state.
I mean, I personally, maybe I wasn't supposed to, but because I got to direct myself, I could do what I wanted. But I played it that it is a real pitch. She just didn't think he'd bite.
Oh, I think that's exactly right.
absolutely.
I think that's
a truthful
exactly right.
pitch that she would give in a room.
I think that's exactly right. I think she, weirdly enough, she underestimates Cliff.
Well, we're also
and
learning
he's
about
got-
Cliff's
Yeah.
vulnerabilities
Yes.
here, and finding out all these things about people that she previously and we could see as almost just two-dimensional character. Like we didn't know about their
His son.
yeah, like what's the right word I'm looking for? That there's collateral damage to
Yes.
the people that they are
Yes.
messing with.
Yes. It's a really good point.
It's interesting that, you know,
They weren't two-dimensional characters.
Yes,
ever. That's
no,
what
I
meant.
get
But
that.
we were giving them reasons to feel sorry for them.
Jimmy and Kim are using these folks like chess pieces.
Yes.
And then we find out that, you know, Ed
Exactly.
has depth and Howard has
Yes.
depth,
Yes.
a depth that we didn't know.
I'll go to arrange this. So funny.
This was so tricky.
Very tricky.
Wasn't that Howard?
I was very, you know, because part of me thought, wow, it would be more fun to have her just flung out of a moving car.
Yeah.
But then I also we didn't want to make it look like Jimmy was actually going to hurt her.
Exactly.
Well, and also, like, he has only so much leverage if he's sitting in the seat. Like, how could he really...
Yeah.
And
it was important for him to not. We don't want it to look like Jimmy wouldn't care if Wendy got hurt.
Right.
I love that he hated the music before,
And now he loves
loves it.
It's very like
This is
Panther.
This is great, and I don't know what you guys did with his teeth. It's so
Sherry
funny.
did this paint that stays on
It's perfect.
for 40 minutes at a time.
I'm
and then
going to
you
get
put it
some
back
of
on.
this stuff. I need this.
So do I.
You do not want this. That's my favorite line reading of crap ever.
I'm going to bring a big can of it to the next party I go. And I'll keep disappearing in the bathroom to paint my teeth. This was such a hard thing to explain and make real.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, it
Yeah.
was.
Because those signs would normally be almost in concrete. So you had
Yes.
to find the perfect location
exactly.
where you could actually
There were so
pull
many
out a sign.
requirements of this location.
Yes, Christian Diaz, de Bedoya, and our locations person, the grounds people, Denise Pizzini. Like we all had to be hands-on, try to figure out what location would work for this.
It looks really hard. Is he really pulling out of the ground, or is that special effects?
It's made so that it has at least a little bit of pull to it so that Bob doesn't just fling it out, but he's mostly acting that.
I was hoping that I knew Bob could do this and make it funny. And
Well, and then I had a two interesting technical things happen with this, and one is Peter gave me a great tip to go back and do one more shot overhead of Bob's struggle to give us more to cut to. Chris McCaleb edited this, and then we can elongate the struggle, and it made it more believable, but also more comedic. And then the other thing that happened was I filmed the back of the stairs, and Chris had told me, like, that's special effects, so great.
Chris McCaleb, the editor?
Yes, he had told me to build the suspense, because I said, I want to make sure that it looks like they almost miss each other, and it's funny, but I want the audience to like be biting their nails. And he said, the more pieces, the better. So we did the Howard's shoes coming down the stairs, Howard coming around the corner. Then in the editing room, I was like, this would work better if we knew that that's where Howard went, because I didn't film him going into the therapy office, and so we don't really know what these stairs mean. We don't know how close they are to coming around the corner. And Chris said, oh, well, they kept the cameras rolling every time Patrick did his reset. I have him walking up the stairs and going across the bridge. So we added that. Yes. So that's now in the scene, and that's why you know he's coming at the end.
Oh, that's
every
great.
Bit of the Buffalo. Chris is a genius. I heard that you watched every daily. Thanks. Is that true?
I did. That was Paul's suggestion. He said most directors don't, but do it just once. You'll learn a lot. So I did. I watched all of them.
It can be tough.
I watched them all at the end, not day to day, or else I wouldn't have gotten any sleep. But
Yeah.
I love
It's
this
painful
moment.
to do, though, because at least for me, because when I look at dailies, all I see is mistakes, and all I see is the things I should have done.
Oh, well,
so
sure.
you really have to be, it takes a certain amount of moral courage.
Yes.
It was not easy.
This is
More driving.
And this is more driving. There's actually another driving sequence that we omitted. That we made you shoot. We made you shoot, and then we didn't use. So because I said let's have more driving for Ray. We had Giancarlo driving.
Oh, you did omit that.
Yes.
There was also a
Emporio
scripted
twins.
one that got taken away.
Yes.
That was
when
scripted.
she's
When we saw the-
driving
he saw the van.
to the Saul office.
And there was also a scripted. Originally, there was a scene at Pollos Hermanos that we omitted.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I don't know if you saw that one.
I never saw that. Okay. No.
I love how moody that shot was.
It's fantastic.
It's so beautiful.
And you said, I've heard you say that your posture in this scene is based on something. Is that right?
It is a drawing that is on Kim's bookshelf. If you were sitting on the couch, it would be to your right, and it's a foreshortened drawing of a woman from her head going back, and her legs are crossed like that.
It landed.
And I did the drawing in real life.
Because when we dressed this set, we asked you, right? Do you have anything you want to add? And you had all this great art that you would also clear for us.
Yes,
So
The birds that we saw.
the birds
in that
above
shot.
her bed are mine. Most of mine are nudes, which are very distracting in scenes. So I had to dig up my artwork that was not nudes.
The birds are particular favorites of mine. We actually had them. It's something that got cut from the season finale. The birds actually ended up in Florida, but we ended up omitting them, unfortunately.
Oh, did you? Yeah. I remember them bringing them in. And I also remember Paul Donachie wanting to spray mattifying spray so that, because he didn't know they were owned personally by anybody. And Melissa Bernstein ran in like a barn was on fire. Yes. Which I appreciated.
Yeah. I did like that in Florida. It was the one piece of Kim that was so recognizable.
Oh, this is what happens when you have an episode that's way too long, but not this. This one is not way too long, and it's great.
And that's what this is for, to give people the inside scoop.
That's right.
But I like that it's something that I always felt predated Jimmy. It was a bit of Kim that was her own. It wasn't representing a relationship.
Very true.
And the exercise bike is that way too.
I love, and the way you wrote this script, for me, it felt like very much like this progression of guilt being theoretical and her conscience, and it's like she thinks she's being followed, but it's all a very sort of lofty philosophical thing, and then it becomes real.
And then it becomes, yes, exactly. Well, her instincts, the character, her instincts are always so good.
Yeah.
Like her gut is, she listens to it.
Experience, okay? You know why you're feeling like this?
One of the things I think I'm so proud of this season is the way these two kind of take turns having doubts.
Yes.
Yes.
And
Yes.
reinforcing
Yeah,
each other.
agreed.
And he was so, a few episodes earlier, he was so fragile.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
Kim was the one boosting him up. And now it's just the other way around. And I love, these are scenes, it's interesting because these are some of my favorite scenes, which is just quiet and intimate and
Same.
real.
Same.
Yeah.
It's just wonderful.
I totally agree.
It breaks your heart because you see that there are so many off ramps for
Yes.
them to
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
go down the dark road we know they're going.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that. You can see the version of their relationship, which is just domestic. and-
Yes, yes. And if they had listened to one of the doubts, if one
Right,
person had had
right.
the confidence
Yeah.
to stop, doing what they
It
were
all could have
doing.
been avoided. Yeah.
How's it hanging, Steve-O?
But it also has that weird moment, and there's other moments that you guys have put throughout the seasons where
Shoes, belt.
Kim won't. When he says we're wicked, like she shuts down being labeled as a bad guy because of the compartmentalizing she's
Yes.
doing.
Yes, she's very good at that.
And now the consequences come home to roost.
That's right.
Yeah, they
Here.
do. This was a fun sequence to shoot, Jimmy becoming a pariah.
I love that we went back to all of those people we saw from, I think, season 2 in the.
Season 1
Yes,
also.
the
Season
pilot,
one, yeah.
Beautiful day.
And this
She's
actress is just, she's
Nate-
fantastic.
Yeah, Nadine.
Nadine is
She's
so great. I
Oh,
love
my
her.
God.
From
Put a few extra
Dallas, right?
Yes, I believe so.
just for you.
I love
This,
her.
I think, and I think that we took the idea of these Beanie Babies. We actually took this from when we, before we started season 1, we went down to the LA courts. And one of the things that we observed was that the clerks would have little personal things
Yes.
on their
Yes.
desks.
Sure.
And so we took that and ran with it. Not run with it.
Yes, one of the judges had
Can't
a big
speak.
gulp.
That's right.
Remember?
And what's great is that they're collectible and that some of them are hard to get. So it's like it has.
That's true.
I love that one. I love when he does the voice.
This.
It's great. I thought this was written into the script exactly which Beanie Baby
It was.
was.
Oh,
It
yes.
was. I researched it.
Did we have to make? I think it was hard to find. I think Mark Hansen had a tough
Hansen,
time.
No, yeah, but that's a
finding
real
this one. But
That's the real one.
it's just great because also the way the way the tassel moves.
And then our wonderful set deck and props had to look at so many pictures to make sure her office looked like it did the first time you saw it seasons ago. But with a few new collectibles.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Hannah Banana.
Yep.
She's so great.
Peter Dyson.
Get
the
Oakley
best.
in there. We always had to have Oakley.
Yes.
Anne requires Oakley in every
I
episode.
do.
And
I used to, fight for him to be in every.
Anne wrote the to me the definitive Oakley moment.
Yeah.
I love
when he
this
says
scene.
Omar.
Oh my!
Oh, I love that one.
Kill for a window.
Very white. Think seduction.
The intimacy between these two is so lovely. That this working relationship they have, I think it's great. What was it like directing these?
How is directing Peter?
I love directing Peter. I directed him in a short as well. His breadth of talent is incredible. And
I liked you better when you were just a regular bottom feeder. But this.
I told him in this scene that I really think that
I understand, Ed.
the guy has crossed a line. And they've had a lot of fun ribbing each other, and they both do things maybe
You scammed the judge.
a little slimy from time to time, but
Murdering cartel psychopath back
it's kind of like if you find out like a friend, like if you're a family man or woman and find out like this guy that you didn't really like that you play poker with is also cheating on his wife that you all know. And it's just a line that shouldn't, I know that's not a perfect analogy, but it's like some moral line is crossed where it's like, no, you're a piece of shit.
Yes.
It's like these guys are all playing in the same system, and he's gone outside the system. He's like, it's like his friend cheats at poker, and it's really
Great.
or his frenemy,
Right.
because they really are. They are sort of frenemies.
I loved this actor that played Abe. John Robert Wiley.
John Watt. Yes.
I loved
This
him.
was great casting because that's how I pictured that.
Same. And I went to Jennifer Bryan when we were trying to get his costume, and I said, I want it to look like the guy's life has been ruined by being an alcoholic. Court-ordered AA is what I believe we're talking about in this scene, and that he now lives in a sober living house, and they share one jacket for anybody that's got to go to court.
Yeah, that's nice.
And it has no lining, and nobody owns an iron. And she said, on it.
I love that.
It doesn't quite fit anymore.
Yeah, and it's too big, and it's just like, I thought he was just so beautiful in the scene.
That's just wonderful directing because you're being specific, but you're inspirational. You're telling Jennifer this is the story behind the jacket, not telling her I want it to have this kind of weave and this kind of buttons. And that's because we're all storytellers and you're telling a story. I think that's a really impressive piece of directing.
And that actor, John, he was found by Marie McMaster, our new local casting this year. She's opened a whole new world for us. She's really brilliant.
He's got a long history in theater in multiple cities. He's great.
And he comes back, I believe, later in the season.
Yes. Is he in 9?
Another one of Anne's episodes.
Yeah, that's right. He comes back in 9.
Another brilliant
this
car
incredible long zoom that Paul designed was so much fun and does require post because you had to put in the windshields.
This was shot with no windshield.
Yeah.
And then the brilliant folks at Rodeo put the windshield in.
I had no idea.
I know.
I thought it was just the cleanest glass. I was like, how did they do that?
I just love this scene. I love the way you play it.
Thank you.
I don't know how you directed this lady, but she did a great job.
Yes. It's always great to see Howard again, too, Howard Ferguson.
Sorry if we've disturbed you.
It's the thing that makes it for me is how you say threatened. I feel threatened.
Well, I was insistent. I was like, she can't look like she's a Karen.
No, I thought it was
she
great.
isn't.
Very, very forceful, and
I'm letting you know that I know what to say, but I absolutely do not feel threatened.
Exactly.
Although Kim does. That's the other thing. She's putting on a performance. She's shaken by that.
It's just so. It's
I
perfect.
love this overhead.
Yeah, is that a crane?
It is. It's a crane. I wanted it to be like going over a lunchroom at school and finding the kid that no one wants to sit with.
That's exactly what we were thinking.
That's exactly.
And I even asked Bob if he would please drink with a straw because I find it more sad.
I love that.
That's great.
This is just.
Well, it's youthful.
Yeah.
And
you also use you focal length wise. You're running into some longer lenses here that we don't do it quite as often, but it really works so well in this scene because it pulls him out from the background.
You'd have to point out. I just don't know my lens language well enough yet, but So what I'll do is I'll describe to Paul and Matt A camera op and Jordan B camera op how I want it to feel. And then they'll translate that to lens.
But that's exactly what we're talking about with Jennifer. It's you're telling a story and you're letting them contribute, which also increases investment.
Yes.
And if you always say it's a 35 here, which is great. That's another way of directing. That works too. But I think there's a real power to how you're approaching it.
Yeah, empowering your artists.
Exactly.
This location is where we saw in Melissa and Allison's episode last year, right before you two got married.
Wedding.
Yep, discussing the marriage contract.
It's a key location, and it comes back, of course.
And horrible for sound. And Phil Palmer always manages to dig it out.
Yeah.
Oh, is this the
Eileen?
Is this
I love
last?
Eileen.
Is this Eileen's last hurrah for the show?
Yes, I believe so because then she kick off screen. She kicks him out.
That's right.
Talk about a character, Eileen, that's nothing like the actress in real life.
Yes.
Yeah, she's so
she's
sweet.
nothing like that, and she has no. She's told me she's just playing her mom. Is what she.
I love this costume.
And David coming was so great that we could get David back.
He was so nice and wonderful, and
the return of Spooge.
This church of Mr. Spooge. No, just Spooge.
just Spooge.
Well, it's good to know that he had the name. Now it's gonna suit him better and better as the years go on.
He'll grow into
Yes.
it.
Yes. But I like that he's doing better now. So it's a nice arc.
Yes.
For,
Right?
Yeah. It's sad. We had talked about doing that with Julie's character with Wendy, of having her like a realtor in this period.
Oh wow, that's a big
That was a
fall from
stretch.
grace.
But we sometimes it's more fun to have people, I don't know, stay the same. And it's also, not everybody has to change at all times.
This scene breaks my heart because when you see him becoming a pariah, you think, oh, maybe he's going to change. And then he sees, this huge success, and it's like, no comeuppance.
He's made his choice. You know, he's left the courtroom world is going to hate him, but he's got his fans. Here they are.
Yeah. This is the beginning of Saul Goodman.
And this was the first sequence you shot?
That chair was Bob's idea. This was my very first day directing. He said, if I had to get past Miss Wynn with the water that there's no way she would have been happy about, there's no way she would have let me drag out the little credenza thing and sit on too. And I was like, all right, fine, put it on a chair.
He was right. It's good.
Beautiful.
So much fun.
And there's a little ad line here where he tells them to go past the washing machine to get to the office.
And we knew, and we did the curtains closing like that because we knew it was the goodbye to the nail salon.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and here's
the scene that people just love. I love
this shot is so simple and it's so elegant.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
The whole scene, the way that it's shot.
And originally, it was written, as I recall, it was written to be the exterior.
Yes.
She was leaving.
By a bus stop.
Yes, and we spent a lot of time trying. And then you guys figured out that it could be in here.
Which I think works probably better.
Oh, yeah.
I do too, and not fighting glaring sun. Do I know you? And the intimacy that this allows.
Intimacy, yeah.
Also, you don't have Jonathan Banks complaining about the heat.
True.
Or the cold.
Or Ray Seehorn with her light eyes. I struggle so much to look into sunlight.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Like, it's super, super hard.
The big thing that saves it for me is just how quiet the place is and empty it is.
Yeah.
I'm not with the police.
I love how differently Mike approaches Kim than he approaches Jimmy.
Yes.
It's so delicate, with such respect.
Well, he knows things about her that she doesn't know he knows. She doesn't know that he watched and listened as she stood up to Lala Salamanca.
Yep.
And I think he also knows that if you come at Kim blustering, she would either not sit down or not listen.
Also, by the way, she spotted his guys. That doesn't happen very often.
Yeah, I mean, I think
so
she's impressed.
She's a worthy opponent
Absolutely.
or something. Whatever.
Or
I don't know if they're
ally.
opponents.
Yeah.
Opponents or allies, whatever they are.
He isn't.
We're watching anyone.
It's such a great scene, Anne.
It is really well written.
It's very sparse, and then you and Jonathan just make it sing.
Yes.
Jonathan and I wanted to do a scene together forever. We were so thrilled to get to do this.
We were very happy in the writer's room when we figured out we could do this.
This episode to me was the turning point for the whole season and maybe for the whole series. This moment combined with the fact that she doesn't tell Jimmy,
right.
Yep.
That's the choice that drives everything going forward to me.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And I think once we had that,
because I think you're made of stern.
that was the thing that made me say, okay, this is going to work.
We've got a season.
We've got the season because it's how she feels about that decision that drives her and drives what she does in episode 9.
Yes.
And it's just I'm just
it was
real
key
proud
for
of
me
it.
as an actor looking at it thinking that that's how dangerous things that used to be character assets are now character flaws. This no one helps me, I will do it alone. And at this point, she really thinks she can control all the elements in the universe enough to protect Jimmy from information that will freak him out, keep them from being killed, keep a scam on track, and it's a fatal flaw.
I love the way Jonathan delivered that line. I was.
Same.
There's so much in that.
I love
That
love
was
it.
this whole,
Yeah.
that was my other life.
He really should have stayed there. He would have been better off being the troll under the
definitely.
bridge.
Yeah.
I mean, he would have been fired and replaced with the machine eventually, but
He has his pension,
that's true.
but
He's
then,
so wonderful in that.
Then his daughter-in-law and his granddaughter would still be living in that neighborhood.
Yeah, that is
It was
true.
scaring
That
her.
is
So
true.
it's
We tested so many sprinkler heads. I wanted, because they are very idyllic and fan fountains in the beginning when we have the biking sequence, and then
Yes.
when we come back to it, I was like, I want one that sounds like a machine gun.
I just
Yes.
love those. I love that
Yeah.
kind of sprinkler.
I remember that's what you talked about most when we were in post, was that you had this motif planned of the sprinklers and the soundscape of them.
I did.
So
I
brilliant.
really wanted the soundscape to go from idyllic to menacing.
Giancarlo, he's so much fun.
He is.
You want to talk about somebody who's different from his character.
Totally different.
This is a man who in real life is so expressive and has, he's just
And sweet-natured. And
he's sweet-natured and open and just joyful.
Yeah.
He's playing this guy who's
he was
so
a joy
closed
to
down.
direct too, because he, you don't know everyone. He's not someone that I have worked with on set, so I didn't know what his process is. Like, when can I step in, and how do you want to talk about it? He just loved talking about the scenes, and he and I both felt that it was important that while we have seen lots of the duplicitous nature of Gus, where he has his persona of a friendly manager of a restaurant chain, and then in private he's this cold-hearted, drug kingpin killer. We've never seen him, and Peter, you said this in the tone meetings, we've never seen him have to arm himself. We've never seen him have to fear for his own life in his own home. We've never seen him have to wear a bulletproof vest, and it's getting to him, and it's bothering him.
His
bedroom.
bedroom. We
Yep.
talked a lot about that.
Oh my God, that was you're right, Ann, because we never saw where the guy
And so we're
sleeps.
like, we just had to
Right.
figure it all out, and
And I liked what you guys told me when we were trying to figure out the design with Denise of this room, of his bedroom.
Right.
He has money. He's very fastidious. He has good taste in his particular, but in the end, it's almost like it's a hotel room.
Yes.
This
Because it's
weird
that
sort
order.
of superficial version
Yes,
of this
yes.
life.
Yes, because he doesn't. There's nothing personal about it.
Yeah, I love the closet you built for him too.
Yes.
And also fastidious.
And this is a fantastic set.
Yes.
Built by,
Incredible.
Denise Pizzini.
Yes.
And her whole
that was a
department.
real house upstairs when we come, and then the door opens and we're going down the stairs and we're now on a set.
What? We didn't build a tunnel?
Steve Brown, our construction coordinator. This was a fascinating set. It looked like a giant, from the outside, it looked like a giant wooden dumbbell.
Yes.
It did,
With,
yes.
with this little kink to it. And and you guys did this brilliant thing, which was to say, do it as a oneer. Do it as all in one so that we can see.
Well, when
how this
Paul
all
and I
works.
saw that we're actually building this set, this tunnel with these two different basements, I mean, we immediately were like, if you're on a show that builds that, you gotta show it, use it by trying to do a oneer. And there's Kirk and Jody.
And this is this Paul operating a
Yes.
Steadicam?
Paul is operating.
Because Paul was in previous seasons our 8-camera operator. He's also a wonderful Steadicam operator. So he's just doing it all here.
Yeah,
And there's so far in this sequence, since we got to the basement, there's no hidden cuts.
Nope.
This coming up is the only hidden cut.
And I love it tells the story with Robert Douglas Washington wearing exactly the same outfit.
Yes.
Yes, the Gus alike.
Yes.
Yes.
I hope people pick up.
It's
pick up
subtle,
on that. It's
yeah.
very subtle.
Well, in 9, he makes another.
Oh yes, he sure does. In a moment that's actually
Yes.
weirdly funny.
Yes.
There was a green Ford van. He was behind me for almost 3 blocks.
98 O'Connell.
And the scene
that's the driving scene that was
Yes,
cut.
that was cut.
Is we did see that.
we saw that, and then originally we also saw him at Poyos, and it just it was sometimes you just have too much for one episode.
that he had experienced.
Too many
You
ideas.
saw the guy that he's talking about right now.
Yes.
He's not there just to make.
Oh, we saw that.
Yeah.
Oh,
So the
I
guy
see,
who
I
was the
see.
guy who was there to
not-
guard Gus, but is
but
not
not a good
quite up to
cook.
Pollo
Yeah.
standards. And unfortunately, we had to cut Lyle out of this episode, and that's always that's always.
I always
I
love
love
Harrison.
Harrison is just great.
2 weeks. We haven't had a tickle.
I love the evolution of Gus and Mike's relationship throughout this
The
series.
rest of the world.
And the trust they put in him, and the times this season we see where they don't agree, and there's the tension.
But that
that's
is
coming to
okay.
it.
Like it ends up being okay, and you see what they've been through. When you watch Breaking Bad, you have no idea.
Yeah.
It's intriguing because in Breaking Bad, there's sometimes a little bit of a Sherlock Holmes and Watson relationship.
Right.
And now there's I think a little bit more conflict,
Yes.
a little bit more disagreement.
Yeah. This is another moment in the episode that I love what Anne did thematically of what we were saying before. Of you see people behind the scenes. You see what they are when they take the mask off, when they're not performing, with Gus when he comes home, with Howard at the therapist. And it's great when you see her making this decision. Should she
Yes,
tell
because
him?
that was a driving scene where you're watching her wrestle with what to do. And when we cut that, I said, can I just have a line at the top where Jimmy says, how's your day? So that you know that she has not called him and told him
Right,
this
that's
information.
smart, yeah.
That way we
Yep.
would see
That's right.
her make the decision to lie in the scene instead of off camera.
You found a way to do the idea of the scene without having to shoot yet another driving. And this time a night driving scene too.
Yes.
And that's it's
And then we
interesting.
found out that there is a old muscle car drag race competition that happens on certain nights every month, and their starting place is the restaurant across the street from this location.
Yes. It's amazing what Phil and Larry and Kevin, our mixers, did,
my God.
and Nick to clean this up. Because you'd never know.
You should see the dailies of this scene. We are stopping and starting because I couldn't even hear Bob sometimes. I'm getting a sentence out at a time and then picking up.
You can't tell at all.
But it's Kim's thought process
Yes.
is so alive in this scene.
Because she believes like he's finally getting back on track and he's
like maybe
doing
she
so
was
well.
going to tell
But
him.
you were looking off like, are they watching me right now?
Yeah.
And it's
But
just-
he's thinking, oh, she doesn't like the office.
exactly. There's this
Yeah.
whole
Suddenly
Love
they're
that.
not. They were connecting so well earlier in the episode when she said, there was somebody following
Exactly.
me, and now there's secrets.
Yep.
There's a secret. She has a secret from him, which I feel like in previous seasons it was more the other way around.
and thinking you're protecting the other person.
Yes,
Yeah.
It's just around the corner.
and
Might be a diamond in the rough.
this location for various reasons was really tricky.
Yeah.
To shoot at this location again. And we had to shoot it out. All the episodes at the exterior of Saul's office all had to be shot pretty close together in just a matter of a couple of weeks. And of course, it spans from this episode all the way through
12.
12.
Yep.
So all of that had to be shot lickety split.
Went through a lot of toilet jokes for this.
That's true.
It ended up not
Did
really
you?
being. Yeah, there was a lot of options.
Wait, that's it?
Great job.
Wait, I
Great job, Anne. Everybody.
Good job,
want more.
Ray.
Yes. Great job.
I love that episode.
Yeah.
That's good.
It went by like a house on fire.
Yes.
I remember when I sent you the cut, you said it's light on its feet. It moves.
It moves.
It doesn't.
Yes.
It has a
Pace.
at the pace.
As Jenn was saying, it's such a wonderful contrast with
Three.
the pain of 3.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, anything would be, but but yes,
Great work.
Oh, that was really fun.
that was fun.
Thank
That was
you.
fun.